The girl's eyes widened suddenly. As the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, the truth dawned on her. The warrior in golden armor wreaking havoc on the battlefield was none other than that level 12 traveler, the one who had been with them before mysteriously vanishing from the ship. The realization sent a stir through the entire crew. Everyone was stunned. No one could fathom how an ordinary-looking level 12 individual could possess such terrifying power, a force seemingly capable of shaking the very foundations of the universe. The girl gritted her teeth in disbelief, her gaze locked onto the screen. "Extraordinary talents do exist in this world," she said in a low voice, "but wiping out level 12 warriors as if they were mere flies or mosquitoes, that defies all logic." The person standing beside her fell silent upon hearing this. The tension was now clearly visible on a face that had previously appeared calm. His palms grew slick with sweat as the gravity of the situation sank in. Meanwhile, the atmosphere on the bridge was becoming increasingly heavy. Explosions echoed one after another across the massive screen. Amidst the blazing fire and surging waves of energy, everyone understood one thing. Lu Sheng was about to face an opponent who wielded the power of level 13. The impending clash was not merely a battle. It was destined to be a decisive confrontation between two extraordinary forces. Lu Sheng was not merely facing a single powerful boss. Standing before him were level 13 pirate commanders waiting to claim his life. In the cold, silent void of space, the gaze of the blindfolded assassin locked onto Lu Sheng in the distance. He sensed the surging, immense energy radiating from the youth, and a look of seriousness flickered briefly in his eyes. However, upon carefully assessing Lu Sheng's power and confirming that he was still only at level 12, a faint smile played upon his lips. That smile held both mockery and unshakable confidence. "So this is the boy who has caused such a commotion," he thought to himself. The very next instant, a cold glint flashed in his eyes. There was no need for the other commanders to intervene. In his view, no matter how extraordinary a level 12 warrior might be, they were, ultimately, still just level 12. And he alone was more than enough to finish him off. With this thought, he slowly advanced. The lethal aura emanating from his body weighed heavily upon the surrounding space, as if death itself were striding toward its prey. The other pirate captains immediately stepped forward, offering to join the fight. To them, this was easy prey, a target they could collectively finish off in mere moments. But the pirate with the eye patch didn't even glance at them. An arrogant smile spread across his face. "I don't need anyone's help to take down a level 12. The very next instant, a violent surge of energy erupted from his body. Enveloped in a violet aura, he shot straight toward Lu Sheng, tearing through space like a burning meteor. His eyes held absolute confidence in his victory. In his view, the gap between level 12 and level 13 was an abyss that no amount of talent, skill, or miracle could bridge. He laughed loudly as he surged forward. "Today I'll show you just how terrifying the difference between level 12 and level 13 really is. It's a lesson you won't forget, not even in death." With that roar, he unleashed his deadliest technique, Dead Blade. The violet energy transformed into a massive torrent capable of obliterating everything in its path. Charged with destructive power, the attack slammed directly into Lu Sheng's dazzling golden radiance. For a moment, it seemed as though two suns had collided. Space itself shuddered. But the very next instant, the gap the assassin had been so arrogant about was nowhere to be seen. The very next instant, a golden light flashed through space like a bolt of lightning, a single strike. Just one blow brought everything to an end. The pirate commander, who had been supremely arrogant about his own power, found his body cleaved in two right down the middle. His violet energy dissipated in an instant, and his face twisted in sheer terror. "No!" he screamed in panic. Desperately trying to knit his severed body back together, he frantically gathered energy. Disbelief and horror were clearly visible in his eyes. He simply could not comprehend how this was possible. He was a level 13 commander. Moments ago, he had been absolutely certain he would obliterate his opponent with a single attack. Yet now he stood on the brink of death. Meanwhile, Lu Sheng stood calmly in the void of space. A golden aura shimmered around him like a divine halo. There wasn't even a speck of dust on his clothes, as if the clash that had just occurred had nothing to do with him. He tilted his head slightly, lost in thought. Strange? An amusing thought crossed his mind. Did a tiny fly just buzz past my face? His calm words struck even deeper terror into the pirate commander's heart, the attack into which he had poured his entire strength. Lu Sheng hadn't even felt it. A profound silence descended upon the ship. The girl remained rooted to her seat. Her eyes were transfixed on the screen. The scene that had just unfolded before her had completely overturned her long-held understanding. She knew full well that for any ordinarily talented warrior, facing a level 13 specialist was tantamount to embracing death. The gap between the two levels was so vast that bridging it was unimaginable. Yet Lu Sheng had accomplished the impossible. He was only at level 12 himself, and yet he had crushed a seasoned level 13 commander as if there were no disparity between them at all. The scene defied comprehension. Everyone on the bridge stood stunned. No one had words to utter. Every face was etched with disbelief. On the massive monitor, the young man, enveloped in a golden aura, stood calmly in the void of space. His expression was one of confidence and serenity, as if he had done nothing extraordinary. But to the crew, the sight was nothing short of a miracle. Amidst the profound silence, a remark made just moments ago suddenly echoed in everyone's minds. Those were the words of the seasoned expert. At the time, most people had dismissed them as an exaggeration. No one had believed that a level 12 youth could become their last hope. But now, the scene unfolding on the screen stood before them as undeniable reality. Hai Dao had not exaggerated in the slightest. That mysterious level 12 warrior was truly like a guardian deity. When the entire ship was plunged into despair and a massive pirate fleet had them surrounded, it was that very youth who had stepped forward alone and turned the tide. Wherever his golden light reached, enemy warships were reduced to wreckage. The fleet that had appeared invincible moments ago was now transformed into shattered metal fragments and burning debris drifting in space. In the eyes of those standing on the bridge, astonishment gradually gave way to respect. No one viewed him as merely an ordinary level 12 anymore. To them, Lu Sheng had become a miracle, someone who, through his own power alone, had completely turned the tide of the battle. The crew members exchanged glances. The last lingering doubt in their minds had vanished. They finally realized that the veteran master's words had not been the ravings of a madman or a delusion. This young warrior truly possessed the power to alter the outcome of the entire battle. On the screen, Lu Sheng was eliminating enemies one after another. The pirates' vanguard could not withstand his onslaught. The formidable warriors they had previously feared now appeared helpless against his golden radiance. Witnessing this, the ship's officers immediately assessed their remaining combat strength. After a brief calculation, a look of astonishment crossed their faces. They still had 3 level 13 guardians at their disposal. That number had seemed woefully inadequate before, but the situation had changed.